Long before the white man's ships ever kissed the shores of West Africa, before guns echoed across kingdoms and missions sprouted like weeds, there lived two rival villages in the rugged hills of 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐿, in the far reaches of the great Benin Empire. One was 𝐬𝐵, famed for its warrior men, broad-shouldered, scar-faced, and fire-hearted. The other was 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, a village known for its lush lands and its beautiful women, so fair even the sun lingered longer over them. But something strange began to happen across the land. Women began to disappear. Some died mysteriously. Others fled in the night. Daughters vanished before marriage. Wives disappeared while fetching water. Midwives reported stillbirths with alarming frequency. The young girls that remained grew up faster than they should, terrified that womanhood meant they too would vanish like dust in the wind. The elders were baffled. Diviners cast cowries and spoke of a curse. The oldest women whispered that the land had been offended, that the gods were angry, and the soil itself had rejected the wombs of the village. No one knew the exact cause. But one thing became clear: there were too many men and too few women. At first, the villages of 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐿 tried to ignore it. They carried on with wrestling festivals, yam planting, and evening storytelling. But slowly, something changed. Men began to fight each other over love. Families offered goats, land, and entire farms just to find a bride for their sons. Some even traded their younger sisters for marriage, just to bring women into their households. The chief of 𝐬𝐵, an aging warrior named 𝐸𝐵, had 6 sons, all unmarried. The youngest, 𝐴fé, fell in love with a girl from 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽 named 𝐬𝐵𝐿ADi. She was beautiful skin the color of roasted palm kernel, hair braided like woven rope, and eyes that made even hardened warriors stutter. 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD, however, was already promised to a hunter in her village. 𝐴fé didn't care. One night, under the shadow of the new moon, 𝐴fé and his brothers stormed 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽, kidnapped 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD, and dragged her across the rocky hills back to 𝐬𝐵. By morning, chaos had erupted. When the elders of 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽 heard of 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD's abduction, they sent emissaries to demand her return. But Chief 𝐸𝐵 laughed. "Are women trees?" he scoffed. "Did we not all come from the womb of the same earth? If your women are many and ours are few, the gods have chosen balance through us." The emissaries left, fuming. And that same evening, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽 declared war. War drums sounded in the forest. Hunters sharpened their poisoned arrows. Young men beat their chests and painted their bodies with ash. The women, yes, the few left, cursed the enemy with bitter cola and red dye. The villages clashed in the valley of 𝐾𝐵, a sacred land once used for unity festivals. Now it was soaked in blood. Men died, crops burned, livestock vanished. But the strangest part? No women were seen on the battlefield, because they had vanished again, some into hiding, some into the wild, some into the arms of other villages. 2 villages in 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐿, 𝐬𝐵 and 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽, once lived in peace. But a mysterious shortage of women spread across the land. Births declined, women disappeared, and wombs went dry. The men of 𝐬𝐵, desperate for wives, abducted a beautiful maiden named 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD from 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽. War followed. The night 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD was taken, thunder cracked across the hills, though there wasn't a cloud in the sky. The seers of 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽 said it was a bad omen. In 𝐬𝐵, 𝐬𝐵𝐿AD was hidden in Chief 𝐸𝐵's compound. They treated her gently, like a queen taken in conquest, but her face was like carved stone. She neither wept nor spoke. She refused food, refused eye contact, refused even to sit unless forced. Her beauty remained untouched, but her silence became frightening. 𝐴fé, the youngest son of the chief, would sit by her hut every night and beg, I didn't mean for this to happen, 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐞. I wanted you. I still want you." She would not answer. But sometimes he thought he saw her mouth move, not words, but curses. 3 moons passed. 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐽 sent warriors to retrieve her, but 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐽 was ready. The 2 sides clashed at Erin Hill, just beneath the sacred 𝐿OCO trees that no one dared to cut. Warriors fell. Arrows darkened the sky. The stream that flowed through the valley ran red for 2 days. Still, 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐽 remained captive. But on the 3rd day after the battle, she vanished. No one saw her leave. There were guards posted outside her hut. The doors were sealed. Yet when morning came, her bedding was untouched, her wrapper folded neatly on the stool. No footprints, no blood, no broken wall. She was gone. Just like the other women before her, 𝐸𝐽 went mad with grief. He wandered into the forest, barefoot, refusing food, muttering to himself. "She was here. I know she was real. She touched my hand. I saw her." Chief 𝐸𝐽𝐫𝐸 consulted the oracle at Ida Cave, a sacred place where only elders and madmen dared enter. The oracle, an old woman blind in one eye, emerged foaming at the mouth. She screamed, "The land is cursed! Your greed poisoned the wombs! You kidnapped a daughter of the forest! You have started a war with something older than you know! She was not just a girl. She was the last fruit of the goddess 𝐸𝐻𝐫𝐽. Now you will reap what you've sown." The curse spread like wildfire. In both villages, married women began to leave their homes without warning. Some vanished in broad daylight. Others walked into the forest and never returned. A woman bathing in the river vanished beneath the water, and her body was never found. A heavily pregnant woman gave birth to 𝐴𝐿. There was crying in her belly, but nothing in her arms. Soon, no village was safe. Even young girls, barely of age, disappeared the moment they reached their first menstruation. The people began to believe it was not natural death or disease, but something far more sinister. They called it 𝐼mos, beauty. With women gone and the curse thick like smoke in the air, the men of 𝐷𝐵oshi and 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐽 turned their rage on each other. They believed each other responsible for the growing loss. Fathers blamed sons. Brothers killed brothers. The warriors no longer fought in organized ranks. They became raiders, striking by night, burning farmlands, stealing goats, tearing apart yam barns. Some went as far as raiding other villages far outside Akoko-Edo, Somorika, Lampis, Igara, searching for women, taking any they could find, only to lose them by morning. The stolen women would turn to ash, or birds, or nothing at all. One dry evening during Harmattan, 𝐸𝐽 returned from the forest, dirty, thin, hollow-eyed. In his hand was a red wrapper. He said it belonged to 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿ADi. No one believed him. That night flames erupted from the sky. A giant woman, glowing like hot coal, appeared on the hill between the 2 villages. Her feet crushed trees. Her eyes were stars. Her voice was thunder. She was 𝐸𝐻𝐵𝐿, goddess of the forest and fruitfulness. "You have desecrated the sacred order," she said. "You treated women like meat. You stole, you warred, you bled the land dry. Now you shall be barren forever, unless you return the blood debt." Chief 𝐸𝐽𝐵𝐽 fell on his knees. "What must we do?" he wept. "Find the first daughters of both villages," the goddess said. "Unite them in peace. Only a union of love, not war, can cleanse this curse." The first daughters of 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐽 and 𝐷𝐵oshi were 𝐸𝐵𝐽 and 𝐸𝐡𝐴, 2 girls who had been sent away at birth to avoid the curse. No one knew where they were. Some said they had grown in the forests of 𝐸𝐼. Others said they lived as market traders in far-off Owo. Chief Odebi's surviving son, Afeye, made it his life's mission to find them. It took 7 years. When he returned, he came not with war, but with hope. The two girls, now women, had been raised in different cultures but shared a common blood, and strangely, they had both dreamed of each other long before they met. A festival was declared. The two villages agreed to cease fire. 𝐸𝐵𝐾 and 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝐻 stood before the goddess's shrine, holding hands. They married Afai, not as rivals, but as sisters, promising to rebuild both villages together. The night of the union, the skies poured rain for the first time in a year. The streams filled, the trees grew green. And in the coming months, women returned. Not all, but many. Some had been hiding. Others claimed they had been kept in the spirit realm by 𝐸𝐻𝐻, who had become one of the guardians of the land. The wombs opened again. Children were born. Not just boys, but girls. Laughing, dancing, singing girls. And in both villages, the elders taught the young that women are not property. They are life. Till this day in Akoko Edo, during certain moonlit nights, if you listen closely, you'll hear the drums of the past. You'll hear chants that speak of a time when women vanished and war rose, a time when one woman's abduction nearly destroyed a people. And yet, through the pain, something beautiful emerged, a vow never to forget, a land reborn through peace, and the spirit of Omolade watching still from the trees.